Hello, my fellow boneheads. I'm your poorly cut out JPEG of a skeleton, Jay, and today we'll be looking at a show that has quickly become one of my new personal favorites, as well as also being the second gayest cartoon to my knowledge, The Owl House. Ah, yes, The Owl House, one of Disney's latest, and, as the rhyming would go, one of Disney's greatest. The story centers around Luce, a 14-year-old human girl with an overly active imagination, to put it simply, who accidentally stumbles across a portal to the Boiling Isles in the Demon Realm. There, she runs into the local MILF, the con artist merchant, Eda, known as Eda the Owl Lady by the people of the Isles, who is public enemy number one. You know, the best role model for kids. And after escaping the law and having some bonding moments, Eda decides to take Luce under her wing, and agrees to train Luce in how to become a powerful witch. Eda takes Luce to her home, the Owl House, where Luce meets the adorable demon named King, and Hootie, the best character in the show. Eventually, Luce starts attending a magic school called Hexside, where she meets and befriends other characters like Willow, Gus, and Amity. Oh, trust me, we'll get to her soon enough.
Sweating?
What I like about this show overall are its characters and storytelling, and I feel like this show really fills the void that Steven Universe left me ever since it ended. You know, with the great characters, great world, great story, and the gays. You can't forget that, Gromit! Which makes me sad that it's about to meet a similar fate as my other favorite Disney cartoon, Wander Over Yonder. Though for this one, I wonder, why is that, Disney, that the show is going to be cancelled? What is the problem? But we'll have time to dwell on Disney's horrible decision-making later. For now, let's talk about one of the Owl House's Season 1 episodes. And since us as a fan base are currently
happily waiting, all on my own,
for the show to come back, I decided that I'm going to talk about, well, not Season 1's best, but in my opinion, its funniest episode, Wing It Like Witches, to celebrate the episode's 1-year anniversary, 2 weeks ago. I am slow. We start off our episode with, admittedly, my least favorite member of the entire cast, Basha, telling herself that she should remember that she should be respected because she is the captain of the Grudgeby team, which is essentially magical rugby, but with death. But when Basha gets to Hexside, she realizes that no one really seems to care about her or her petty athletic achievements. Instead, it seems like everyone is more interested in Willow, who is currently making and giving away plant creatures based off of the other students. And one thing I want to point out is how much I love the Owl House and its subversions. Like, take for example, Willow, where here it shows that a lot of people like her because she's nice and kind to everyone, while in any other thing she would most likely be bullied because high school. Hey, I guess it turns out if you're a good person, people will actually like you. Take notes, every other show with a school ever. But Basha, being the one-note bully that she is, tries to put down Willow, which almost works, until my girl Amity shows up and pretty much puts Basha in her place.
But I grew up. When will you?
Yeah, tell her, girl. Okay, now Amity's personality will be set to gay panic for the remainder of the episode. One epic intro later, we see Eda dropping Luce off at school, as the two quickly talk about how it's Grudgeby season and how they are excited for it. As Eda only confirms my suspicions that she has a body count.
You know, I used to play back in my gory days.
You mean glory days?
Well, that too.
Wow, between this and apparently being married to Stan Pines, Eda has lived one hell of a life. But anyways, later in class, after getting a few important lore dumps that may or may not be useful later, we see that Willow is still maintaining her popularity, and Basha, being a petty brat, is not enjoying this. And we see her retaliate by taking away Willow's hair clip. But then, the absolute Chad, Gus, gets up and takes it from Basha and gives it right back to Willow, because that's what friends do. And yes, you heard me say it, lads. This is the hill I'm going to die on, and I will never back down, no matter what you do. So then Basha decides to start going after all of them. They try getting the teacher's help, but he reacts, well, honestly better than how most teachers handle the situation.
How could you throw things at them when you could throw things at me?
But Basha doesn't care. So one cut later that I couldn't write better if I tried.
It's not like she can follow us around all day, right?
She followed us around all day.
Luz decides to get help from Amity, as Amity and Basha used to be friends in the past.
Oh, Luz, you're here! I mean, obviously you're here, this is school, and you go here now, with, me. I've been talking for too long.
Wow, thirsty much?
Amity, we need your help.
Yes, I can help!
Why do I get the feeling I'm gonna need to have this close by for the remainder of the episode, just in case? Amity explains to Luz that Basha only speaks in Grudgeby terms, which leads to Luz challenging Basha to a Grudgeby match, which Basha, of course, accepts. While that's going on, we cut back to the Owl House, where Eda is telling King not only about her past at Hexside, but how she was on the Grudgeby team and was so good at cheating. But then Hootie reveals that he had found/kidnapped a new friend, Eda's sister, Lilith, who had come to arrest Eda for not joining a coven. Oh yeah, I totally forgot to mention that. The coven system was made by the series' main antagonist, Emperor Bellows, who used it as a way to restrict witches from using other forms of magic, as this will only allow them to study in one form of magic each. But Eda said, nah man, I ain't doing that, and that's why she's currently number 1 on Boiling Isle's Most Wanted. Her sister Lilith, however, had joined the Emperor's Coven and is now one of Emperor Bellows' head honchos. Therefore, she was now tasked with finding and arresting Eda to get her to join the Emperor's Coven, as apparently the Emperor has big plans for her. Though the real reason why Lilith wants Eda to join the Emperor's Coven is because Emperor Bellows promised Lilith that if Eda joins the Coven, then he will cure Eda of her curse. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that too. For reasons explained in another episode, Eda has a curse on her that when she's put into certain situations and using up too much magic, she'll transform into that, and there's no known way to cure it. But apparently Emperor Bellows knows how to cure it and has said that he will do it if Eda joins the Emperor's Coven. Eda, of course, doesn't want Bellows' help because she knows she'll become nothing more than a slave to him, but Lilith desperately wants her sister to be cured, so we got that conflict. Anyways, back to the episode. Eda says that she will go with Lilith only if Lilith can beat her in a game of Grudgeby, to which Lilith accepts because apparently she was better than the game than Eda was. Back with Luz and the others, they're worried over the fact that they're about to be served in more ways than one, but Luz states that they can probably still win because it'd be just like the movies she watches. This somehow motivates Willow and Gus to at least try to win, even though they've never played Grudgeby before, and even though Amity has been on the Grudgeby team, she can't help them because, well...
What about you, Amity?
Me? On a team with you? Running around in cute uniforms? Sweating? I gotta go!
Jesus, girl, you're making Pearl look straight. +5 on that thing right now. Oh my god. So with the team set up, Willow and Gus explain Luz the rules of Grudgeby, which at first seemed simple enough, but because this is the Boiling Isles, the arena is of course run by a very angry Aang. But after breaking the fourth wall so Luz can explain how montages work, she pushes Willow and Gus too far, which results in both Willow's hair clip and Gus's flags getting destroyed, so they end up backing out of the match. We cut back to the Owl House with Eda and Lilith about to start their game as they're mainly just trash-talking each other. Though the scene was completely worth it though, just so we can see King's armor of intimidation. We cut back to Luz, who is trying to fix Willow's hair clip while talking to a rehydrated Amity who got there by drinking lots of bottles of water. Amity explains that she also pushed away her Grudgeby team, ironically by using the exact same move Luz did, and it resulted in a lot of them getting injured, and she never played after that. And then, boom, instant dehydration. So Luz decides to take the bullet for Willow and Gus, but Amity can't bear to watch this, so she runs off to go get Willow and Gus to try and get them to help again. Hey kids, did you think there were too many gay panic scenes in this episode?
Yeah, actually. That's too bad.
She can be so stupid, which I love. I mean, hate! In any case, she needs you right now, which is sweet. I mean, I hate it, and it's dumb.
Willow just has the expression of, wow, that was gayer than my two dads on their anniversary. But anyways, it doesn't take too much to convince the two of them to join back in and try and help Luz. We cut back to Eda and Lilith's game, where we see that they have actually managed to tie, with 1 point left to score. Eda is about to cheat, but she sees that Luz had emptied out her cheat box, so now she has no choice but to play fair. And, surprisingly, she actually wins by playing fair. Lilith is of course torn up about this loss and fears what the Emperor would do to her if she were to return empty-handed. Though Eda takes pity on Lilith and gives her her ring so she can show the Emperor that Eda put up a fight. And while Lilith is grateful, she does warn Eda that she will be back eventually with reinforcements. And one thing I want to point out is how much I love the dynamic between Lilith and Eda. Even before their future development that will happen in the next season, their dynamic throughout most of season 1 is amazing in my eyes. You can tell that the two clearly care for each other still, and have a mutual respect for one another. It's just that they're forced to play on different sides, and that's where the problem in their relationship stems from. At least for now. We cut back to Luz, who's running for her life as she's currently being used as target practice by Basha, as Willow and Amity come to her rescue, which puts the game back on. Gus can't play because the poor boy is tending to his flags. We then get a cool Grudgeby match, which honestly I can't comment on. It's just very well done. I love this scene. It ends with Amity unfortunately getting injured, but Willow and Luz decide to use the Thorn Bolt and actually manage to score the last point, winning the game. Except they don't. Why, you may ask? Well...
She caught the rusty smidge.
Oh.
It means we automatically win.
If catching that thing is so important, why do anything else? There's no reason to watch any of the other players.
Yeah, so where's the fun in that, Potter? But it's a moot point because Basha still lost the game of friendship. That's some delicious corn. Hey, do you think we still got time for one more gay panic moment? Why, yes we do. In fact, it's the cutest one of them all.
I could help carry you if it really hurts.
I'm fine. Who's Amity?
And scoop.
Oh, wow. Sports.
My non-existent cold heart can't take the cuteness. It's so wholesome. So in the end, everything turns out well for our main protagonists, and everyone just regroups back at the Owl House and has a good laugh. It honestly seems like this episode has one of the happier endings of the first season, especially considering it's the last episode before the two-parter finale, which is pretty much, well,
Pain.
Overall, I love this episode. While I think the episode before and the two that follow it are better episodes, and I do like those episodes more, this one is pretty much my fourth favorite of the season, for reasons I already explained. I honestly believe that this episode and the one before it are perfect gateway episodes for the Owl House for anyone who hasn't seen the show but are interested in what is it about. The Owl House to me is an amazing show, and it definitely goes up there as one of Disney's bests, which is why it is sad that it is getting cancelled, but for anyone who is a fan of the show, we all know that we have to do everything in our power to let Disney know that we want more of this show and to give us a proper fourth season after they cut season 3 short. But based on Disney's track record and how they listen to people criticizing them, it makes you question if they'll actually listen to us or not. But that's a discussion for another day. But anyways, I'm your average bonehead Jay, and I wish you all good night.